is Anabella Vasquez, and this is my presentation for the epilogue. Here are the key terms for the epilogue. There is amalgamated, which is to combine or unite to form one organization or structure. Then we have immutable, which is unchanging over time or unable to be changed. Cross-fertilization is the interchange or interaction as between different ideas, cultures, or categories, especially of a broadening or productive nature. Inexorable is impossible to stop or prevent. Unfeathered is unrestrained or uninhibited. Balkanized is to break up either a region or group into smaller and often hostile units. A plebiscite is the direct vote of all the members of an electorate on an important public question, such as a change in the Constitution. Gunboat diplomacy is the pursuit of foreign policy objectives with the aid of conspicuous displays of naval power. So basically, powerful nations would display their naval forces to intimidate or force compliance from weaker nations. As far as the historical value in the chapter Epilogue, the author gives reasons for why the U.S. is unique in world history. There's, of course, representation in democracy, spirit of bold enterprise, respect for individual liberty, and rugged devotion to hard work of settlers. And the last one, with a negative connotation since the previous ones were all positive, is the vicious and relentless strive for territorial expansion, conquest, and subjugation of others, also known as manifest destiny. So we are being reminded of past lessons of the book on slavery, the annexed nationalists, such as the Mexicans with Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and Native Americans. For the author, this chapter is a call to action. Therefore, he makes suggestions on how the United States could be a better country for Latin American immigrants and overall just for everyone. The first one would be the end of predatory dual labor market and cheap Mexican labor. The second one is end of colonial status of Puerto Rico. The third is to recognize the rights of language minorities and promote the widespread study of Spanish. The fourth is to reinvest in U.S. cities and public schools. The fifth is end U.S. militarism in Latin America. And the sixth is to end economic blockade on Cuba. For my important person, I chose to do Sal Castro. Although there wasn't any people mentioned in the epilogue, I did Sal Castro because I learned about him when doing my research for my signature assignment essay. And he aligns perfectly with the epilogue because of the previously mentioned suggestions by the author, specifically number 3, which is again recognize the rights of language minorities and promote widespread study of Spanish. Sal Castro was born on October 25, 1933 in Los Angeles, California, and died on April 15, 2013. He lived to be 79 years old. He was impactful in the Latino community because as a social studies teacher, he managed to inspire his Chicano students in 1968 to stand up for their rights to a better education than the one being provided to them by the District of East LA schools, where they were being punished for speaking Spanish and only taught U.S. history from the Anglo point of view. He helped lead what is now known as the Chicano blowouts, which were the organized walkouts and protests to the inferior education being received by Chicanos in East LA. There is a movie about this called Walkout, which is what I wrote my paper on. For my ethical dilemma, I chose bilingual education. The reason I chose it is because the spread of false information about being bilingual is not just fueling prejudice against Latinos who already speak Spanish, but it's also discouraging those same Latinos from passing the language on to their children. And this is something we don't really think about. Therefore, some solutions to the problem, I think, would be to inform the Latino community overall of the pros of keeping Spanish alive, and specifically inform parents when they enroll their children in school. This can be done through pamphlets or a talk with the administrator who can properly educate them on the pros of enrolling their child in bilingual education, or even invite parents to presentations on it. Lastly, overall, I think we can all do some damage control, Latino or not, bilingual or not, Spanish speaking or not, as educated people who went through this course now and learn about the pros of Spanish or just overall being bilingual. I think we can all help do some damage control and spread positivity about it. My connection to the 21st century is the blockade of Cuba, which was ordered on March 14, 1962 by President John F. Kennedy. Therefore, it is now 62 years since it's been effective. And what was most shocking to me when I researched about it was that the United Nations has attempted to vote it out, but the US keeps voting to maintain it. So that's a real eye-opener. And basically what the embargo against Cuba is that it prevents any type of trade with the US itself or those affiliated with the US, isolating Cuba from the world. And this is my video regarding the embargo against Cuba.